Pollux 2019 C7 Z06. For those of you that do watch our channel regularly, we built this car last year. He sent it to us for our normal 800 horsepower package, which, like I say, is our most common package for the LT4 platform, whether it's a C7 Z06, Cadillac V3, or a ZL1 Camaro. And Austin had it. Like I said, it's probably been about a year now, maybe a little less than a year, and sent it back for more horsepower. He's got the bug like all of us, and I think he finally got used to it a little bit and sent it back for more. So now we went from our 800 horsepower package, which was 93 octane only, to now our 1000 horsepower package, which is the main parts that we include for the upgrades are the ported supercharger, all the fueling needed to then run E85 as well. So obviously just adding the E85 would help get us more horsepower, but now with the ported blower, it really helps us get that extra 200 horsepower out of it efficiently. And I want to say the last video we made of this car, for those of you that want to go back and look, and maybe Jason will put some of it in here, I actually didn't do the test drive. I rode shotgun, which I never like riding shotgun with customers driving, let alone anybody driving. But I let my parts guy drive it because he never gets to drive any cars, and he just wanted to experience the car for the first time. And if I remember correctly, he eased into it, and then I think he finally got into it and made a good little pull. But I think once he realized how fast he was going, the shock on his face, I'll never forget. I'll show it on here, but it was to show the world that our 800 horsepower package, someone that's never driven a performance car, can get it when we send it back with the right tires on it and feel comfortable driving it for the very first time. So that was kind of the goal of that video. So if y'all want to go back and watch the whole thing, I think you'll get a kick out of it. But today, now it has 1000 horsepower, still with the stock supercharger, just ported. I'm going to make a couple pulls real quick just to really check the shift points, and then also traction. I'm leaving traction on, but it does have Toyos on it all the way around. Normally a car making this kind of power, second gear is going to spin quite a bit. Sorry, let me turn here. Second gear usually spins quite a bit. I normally start off in third gear with these cars, so I might do third gear first and then switch and just try second. Oh, I wish that Hellcat would turn around. I would love to let him see the taillights of this car. But yeah, normally, like I said, I start off in third gear just to get a good starting point, check all the shift points, make sure everything's right, and depending on how well it does, I might try second gear after. But we'll make a third gear pull again, mainly just to check the shift points. I want to check fuel pressures because this thing is on E85 now. Make sure the fuel system's happy, and go from there. It is starting to get hot out, guys, so our if we do show draggy times, which we might not a lot of the times, but if we do show draggy times, they're only be getting worse and worse with these conditions down here in Houston. It gets so hot. But right now, yeah, so it was at, I think, like 60% ethanol on the dyno, and now I just put some more fuel in it just to come out and test drive it. We're down at 55% E right now, so I'll make test passes today, but obviously before I ship back to the customer, I'll put the ethanol content back up just to make sure everything's perfect. Same with air temps, because it is a stock supercharger, spinning it harder with the ported blower. This car does not have an upgraded heat exchanger yet or an ice tank, so something that we do want to monitor are the intake air temps to make sure that they stay cool. on, Jason, cut. And then restart here in a second, buddy. Try third gear first and just go from there. It spun in third, but again, that was the first pull on it, so the tires don't have a whole bunch of heat in them. As soon as I stabbed it, looked down and I could see the traction control light on it just for a brief second. It tried to step out, traction control saved us, and she kept going. She pulls great. I'm gonna pull over and check all the shift points now and go from there. I think Mr. Polik's gonna like the extra horsepower. There's a big difference between our 800 and our 1000 horsepower package, even with the stock supercharger on it. The torque these things make is incredible. Again, that's on the Toyos. As I was saying, second gear, I don't think we're gonna be able to run second. The only way we can do second gear is if we had our 18-inch wheel tire on it with our true drag radial on it. That's when we can do a second gear pull and get really good 60 to 130 times out of them. All right, so that first pull, looking over data, just like I said, I knew third gear, it did spin right at 69 miles per hour. What happens is it pulls timing as well as the throttle closed just for a brief second, and then came back in, and then she pulled clean. The shift points are good, our fuel pressure is good on our low side as well as on our high side, so everything looks great. Air temps, let's see here, even without a heat exchanger or ice tank, not until, so third and fourth gear, everything looks good. Right about, I'd say right when we went into fifth gear, air temp started to get a little bit hotter, where it pulls about a degree of timing out. Nothing crazy, just for safety. But air temps aren't crazy high. But again, it is getting hot here. And he is in Texas, so he will be experiencing these conditions as well. So I might make one more just to see what it does, make sure it repeats itself, and then if air temps do get really hot or hotter where it is pulling timing, if he is going to be using this thing for, I'll say, higher speeds like half-mile stuff, or more of a I don't want to say mile per hours, but more of a longer runs in Mexico, then we might see if he wants to do like an ice tank or a heat exchanger. But to be honest, most customers do what I just did. They're not going to go much faster than that. So it's fine where she's at right now. Let's see here. For those of you wondering, boost level, we are right around 16 pounds of boost. 15, 16 pounds. So I mean, this thing could be spun harder, but again, the reason why we're spinning it the way we do is because it does not have an ice tank or a heat exchanger on it right now. We want to keep this thing as efficient as possible, even with the stock supercharger on it. But all in all, everything looks great. So from the previous video of Will driving it, after seeing it spin just a little bit in third gear right there, I'm glad we chose to let him start off with an 800 horsepower package, because I think that little bit right there that I felt, I'm used to feeling it. Your average guy might pucker up a little bit when he feels it, but these the new Corvettes, all the GM platforms really for that matter, with traction control on, they keep you they keep you going straight in your lane as long as you keep everything on. So, but you just got to get used to it, the way it feels. So again, I really want to try this car in second gear, but with these tires on it, it's just not gonna do what I want it to do. So I'm gonna do another third gear pull just for consistency, just see it back itself up back to back. Definitely, I should have said it when I felt it, but third gear, you feel the traction control kick in, it kind of hesitates, that's it pulling the timing, closing the throttle, and then it goes. And that is with the Toyo on it. This thing has Toyos on it all the way around, and it did repeat itself, so super consistent, even with a stock supercharger on it. Something else I want to mention, a lot of people always ask, and I understand why. Customers always ask, well, if you're at 55% ethanol right now, if you ran 80%, won't it make a lot more horsepower? And I want to let y'all know, for our customers and for the customers that are watching that we've built cars for, usually 50% or more ethanol, we have about the same timing in it, so it's going to make the same horsepower. Now, just because the ethanol content is higher doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make more horsepower. It just takes more fuel to burn. So obviously with these DI systems, we max out the direct injection as pretty much the limit, and then I obviously back it back down so we know that it's safe for the customer. So when we're tuning these things, we keep that in mind. So we tell our customers, a customer like this, saying, hey, look, if you see 80% ethanol in your tank on your gauge, you're gonna put some 93 in it to mix it, to kind of lower the ethanol content, to keep it safe. But know that it will still make the same horsepower whether you have 50% or if we were able to tune it on straight 80 or 85% ethanol, it would still be the same horsepower. It's not like we're losing 30 or 40 or 50 horsepower because we're running less ethanol content. I hope that makes sense to you guys. And if not, comment in the questions below, and I'll try to answer as best I can. If not, Jason, my media guy, he reads all the questions, and he'll come get me with any questions y'all have. But I kind of hope that makes sense to y'all, because we do hear it a lot, and at least my sales staff always comes and asks, hey, so-and-so's on the phone, if he runs 75%, will it pick up more horsepower than if it was at 60%? And again, the way that we tune them is not going to put any more timing in it than it would with 50% in it. And again, we keep it like that so the fuel system's safe as well. But a car like this, with this package that we build, usually 65% ethanol or less is safe to floor it. Straight E85, when we start making the kind of numbers that we make with these, the fuel system will start to run out up top. So I try to give ourselves a nice safe window by telling our customers usually 65, maybe 60% and less is okay to hop on it and floor it and beat the crap out of it. So if a customer like this ever did put straight E85 in it from wherever he's from, and it's 85% ethanol content, and he sees it on the gauge, again, if he went to beat on it, it would just, there's a chance the fuel pressure could go low, and we don't want it to do that, and obviously it hurt itself. So we always say, just if you see 80%, 85%, just mix a little bit of 93 in it, drive it for a few minutes, make sure your content settles to where the number that we said it should be at, and then beat the crap out of it all day long. Hope I didn't bore y'all with that, but something driving back after looking at the logs just made me think about it, because we get that question asked so many times. But this car drives nice. This car drives phenomenal. I love the way it looks. I love everything about it. And just like the last, which is probably a few weeks ago, we did that 1,000 horsepower package for Mr. Pillarelli in Las Vegas, and the only difference is his was a Magnuson supercharger with, I think, a couple more pounds of boost, maybe 1 or 2 more pounds, where this one's still a stock supercharger. And the way I tuned his, if y'all watched the video, I think the first 6130 was like a 5.3, the next one was a 5.1, I believe, and that was just for me changing the shift points. Same thing with this car. It went a 5.4, I believe, the first pass, and I left the shift points alone just because I know, I'm pretty sure I know what this customer does with the vehicle, but again, I'm gonna talk to him when I get back to the shop. If he wants it to run quicker than that, I can adjust the shift points and get it to run a little bit quicker. And again, the main difference between the packages, obviously the 2650 versus the stock ported blower on this car is efficiency. The 2650, we don't have to spin the supercharger as hard to make the horsepower, and they just run cooler when it comes to the efficiency when you're driving the car every day or beating on it over and over and over again. But again, for what this customer is doing with this vehicle, I have a feeling this is going to be more than enough. So I'll stop talking now and get back to the shop. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Give it a like if you liked it so far. And please turn on bell notifications for future content, as we have cool stuff in the pipeline that you're going to want to see. And as always, please comment below.